We continue our discussion on the divine qualities described in the first 3 verses of 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. And today we will discuss kshama, or forgiveness. But before we start, we will say some prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Preshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtike Namahom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashthabhutale Shrimati Swamiti Namine Namahom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashthabhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine. Welcome again to this class on forgiveness. Forgiveness is very important quality that Vaishnava have to acquire. And as we have stated and stressed many times before, we should strive for these qualities not independently from bhakti, from our devotion to Krishna, just to be a good person, but we should be striving for these qualities for Krishna's satisfaction, because devotees' goal and desire and idea is to make Krishna happy by all means possible. And Krishna describes what is pleasing to him. He explains in 12th chapter many different qualities, and he says that devotees who have such qualities are very dear to me. So we can see that having these divine qualities are pleasing to Krishna. Therefore, a devotee's goal and objective is not to become a good person per se. That means just to be good, to be perceived as a good person, even in his own eyes or of other people. But his only purpose in life is to satisfy his spiritual master and ultimately Krishna. Yes, and therefore this should be our objective, why we strive for these qualities, because they are pleasing to Krishna and they are pleasing to our spiritual master. So kshama, or forgiveness, is one of these 26 qualities, and are one of the most, it is one of the most important qualities that we should strive for. This forgiveness is sheer common sense, because if we are not forgiving, then we suffer more. So even if we are selfish, completely selfish, if we are wise, selfish person, which is excluding actually, one cannot be wise and selfish, but still, even if you are a wise, selfish person, we would be forgiving, because not being forgiven, not have this quality of forgiveness, means great suffering actually. So those who are not forgiving, they just suffer. They invite suffering in their life. And of course, this forgiveness is one of the aspects of humility. First, we should know that as Krishna or Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had said, that Trinada Pisanichana Tororiva Sahishnana Amanina Manandena Kirtanyak Sadahri, that one should be more humble than a blade of grass, and as tolerant as a tree, and not expecting any respect for himself, but should give respect to everyone. Yes, and this means to be humble and to be forgiving also, because we suffer so many things from other living entities, and even more so usually from those living entities that are very close to us. these human beings usually that are very close to us. And therefore, even if they are very loving and caring and considerate, they still, because this is part of material nature, they will hurt us inevitably. And usually those who are most close, they hurt the most each other. Yes. Therefore, there are so many quarrels and fights between husbands and wives, and even between children and their parents. Yes. And because of Kali Yuga, there are also fights between friends, so-called friends, because you can hardly find any real friend in modern life. So, to be forgiving is most important quality, actually, because we should realize that we are, first thing that we should understand, that we are utterly insignificant, utterly insignificant. We always think that we are something special. This idea of distinction is very much deep in our heart, and it doesn't go out very easily. But we should understand that we are utterly insignificant. Even if we look from the material point of view, um, we live in certain country. I live in Slovenia, which is very small country, actually. From one point to the other point of Slovenia, you drive by car 3 hours, maybe 4, but not more. Yes. And from closest one border to the next, it's just 1 hour drive or something. So it's very small country, but still you can easily get lost in this country because there are many forests, one of the most forested lands in Europe and in the world, actually, is Slovenia. So you can get lost very easily in Slovenia, although it's a small country. And Slovenia is a fraction of Europe, actually. It lies in Central Europe, but it's very small comparing to Europe, and also, of course, to other countries in Europe. And Europe is one of the most insignificant continents in the planet. Yes, and we know Earth. If you take Earth and compare it to the sun, it's completely insignificant. It's like a speck in comparing to the sun. So even I'm lost even in Slovenia, or even one small region of Slovenia. I'm lost. I can easily get lost. So I'm completely insignificant in even in Slovenia. What to speak of from the point of view of the sun, and what to speak of from the point of view of the universe. I'm completely lost in space, I can say. And so every one of us, we are completely lost from the point of view of one universe. What to speak of from the point of view of Mahavishnu, from whose bodily pores get out different universes, unlimited universes. But still, it's God greatness that He can establish a loving relationship with even so insignificant sparks as we are, different living entities. Yes, so first we should understand that we are completely insignificant. And second thing that we should understand in our spiritual journey is to understand that Krishna loves me. Yes, this should be understood. And there are also aspects also that we should understand. We should understand that every living entity is part of Krishna. Mamaivansho jiva loke jiva bhutak sanatana. So every living entity is his part and parcel. So what whatever I see, whatever I encounter in this life, whatever is happening to me is happening by Krishna himself. Yes, maybe we can say it's not directly by Krishna, it's indirectly by Krishna. But devotee doesn't think in terms indirectly. The devotee sees the Lord's hand everywhere. He's loving, and he has loving relationship with the Lord. Or even if we are sadhaka, we can say I don't have a loving relationship. I can hardly have any relationship with the Lord, but still we can understand that we should strive for loving relationship with the Lord. We shouldn't just dismiss it, that there is no relationship at all. Yes, we should strive for it. That this means sadhana. It's developing desire. And Krishna explains that if you cannot be engaged full time, 24 hours a day in samadhi, then atachetam samadhatum nashaknoshri maistiram abhyasa yoga natatum amichaptum dananja. By such abhyasa yoga, by practice, you will develop desire to attain me. So this is very important to understand. We should practice to see Krishna's hand everywhere. So even if I suffer because of some mischief of other living entities, or just because of the nature of other living entities, yes, that they commit some suffering on us, we should understand that this is Krishna's mercy coming to them. Yes, so we should take them as Krishna's messengers. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, that sufferings that he experiences, that he undergoes in devotional service, are his highest ecstasies. Yes, because he knows these are my these are pains sent by my lover. And it's explained somewhere from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It is experienced by devotee, these reversals and pains and sufferings, just as lover accepts a bite from his lover. Yes, the beloved accepts bites from his lover, although they may be painful, but he accepts such bites as ecstasy of love. Yes. So devotee also accepts these different reversals, these different sufferings in life, as some special loving attention from his lover, or Krishna, of course. So and where there is grudge, where is the space for grudge in such a situation? There is no space for grudge. So it's forgiveness. I should know that these people are acting on Lord's behalf, and even if they have sinful and an envious mentality, and even if I fight with them, maybe sometimes I have to fight. I'm put in such a situation, like Arjuna was put in such a situation that he had to fight, and he didn't want to fight. Actually, he said that yadyapetena pashanti lobopahati chetasa kulakshaya kritam dosham mitra drohichapatakam. He said that although they may be driven by greed, yes, yadyapetena pashanti lobopahati chetasaha, even if they have reduced their vision, these people who are against us, even if they are bewildered by greed, it's sinful to fight amongst friends. Yes, and therefore I don't want to fight them. Yes, because we should know what is proper and what's not. I'm forgiving, although they committed so many crimes against us. Um, I'm I'm willing to forgive them. But Krishna didn't support Arjuna's way of thinking. Kutastva kashmalam idam vishamesam upasitam anarya justamar svargam akirtim karam Arjuna. From where kutastva kashmalam idam? From where came these impurities upon you, O Arjuna? For one who is Aryan, one who knows the purpose of life, he should act wisely, not with such impure heart. Interesting, because one may think that this forgiveness on the part of Arjuna was very noble and proper thing to do, and he just few verses later, few moments later, few minutes later, in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna himself states that one should be forgiving. How is this? First, he rejected Arjuna's willingness to forgive, and then just few moments later, he said, you should be forgiving. So, did Krishna forget what he preached in the beginning? No, but he's teaching him the science of love, actually. Because his willingness to forgive, Arjuna's willingness to forgive in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā was based on violence, on non-forgiveness, actually. One may ask, how is this possible? Because he didn't want to fight. How is this violence and not forgiving? Because he said that I don't want to fight them because they are my relatives and friends, and one should not fight with his relatives and friends. So his compassion, his forgiveness, and his non-violence was based on this material idea of I and mine. If there would be some foreigners on the other side, and he would be offended by some foreigners, he would fight with this same consciousness without any trace of mercy and forgiveness. Yes. Therefore, his consciousness in the beginning was the expression of material consciousness. Therefore, it is said in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavatya Kinchana, Sarvair Gunas Tatra Samasate Suraha, Haro Abhaktasya Kutoma Harguna, Manoratanasati Davatubahi. That only devotees acquire all godly qualities, and those who are not devotees, they don't have even one good quality. Why not? Because manoratanasati davatubahi. That because the chariot of their minds drives outward on material platform, and therefore their endeavor, every their quality are just the agents of death personified. Yes, therefore his forgiveness in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā was based on death personified. So he would invite death, spiritual death, for himself and for his relatives. But then Krishna is teaching him spiritual forgiveness, spiritual love. And we should also acquire this. And this forgiveness is not material quality that Krishna is teaching us. Therefore, he would recognize as good Arjuna's forgiveness in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā. No, but he didn't. He said that this is impurity of the heart. So he teaches us pure forgiveness here in these pages of Bhagavad-gītā, and this forgiveness should be spiritual forgiveness. Therefore, we should understand that we are spiritual living entities, that we have nothing to do with this body, and everything that is happening to us is Krishna's mercy. Arjuna would also have to understand this. Yes, whatever Duryodhana did to us was Krishna's mercy. Even Duryodhana wanted to set us on fire, and he gave poisoned cake to Bhima, and he cheated us for our kingdom and expelled us for 13 years in the forest and to hide then the last year. Still, this is everything Krishna's will, and this is also confirmed by Bhishma later on. This is everything is Krishna's will, and it's beneficial for me, and I love it. Although this is suffering. Tatteno kampansu samikshamano bunjana ivatma kritam vipakam kritvakpavur birvidadanamasti jivita mukti padesatavak. Although I know that these are great sufferings, but still I accept these sufferings as the consequence of my misdeeds in the past, and I glorify my Lord with my mind, words, and body. Yes, and therefore only such state of consciousness, by such state of consciousness, we can attain spiritual dimension. Yes, and in this same spirit, Queen Kunti is praying. Yes, she's praying. What's the verse? Yeah, yes. Basically, she prays for different sufferings, because when Krishna is sending these different difficulties in her life, uh, Krishna is always present within her heart, because actually Krishna wasn't visibly present all the time, but still the devotee knows that Krishna is present all the time. There is one story in this regard. I don't know if it is true or not, but certainly is instructive. There was one devotee who saw, when he was walking in the sand, he saw two pairs of footsteps, and one were from Krishna and one from himself. And these were in good times. But then bad times came in his life. And then he noticed that in the sand there are only one pair of footprints. And he was very disappointed. Now, when I'm in difficulty, Krishna left me and I'm all alone. And then he prayed like this: "Oh Krishna, I'm in great difficulty, and I suffer mentally and physically and in all regards. Why did you left me? Why did you leave me? I see only one pair of footprints in the sand." And Krishna replied to him, "Yes, you see only one pair of footprints in the sand, because I'm taking you in my hands and I'm carrying you." Yes. So, yes, Yahamanugrihnami Harisha Taddanam Shanai, Krishna says. When I want to express my mercy to the utmost degree, I can take from the foolish devotee everything that keeps him bound in this material world. Yes, because as long as we are attached to anything in this material world, we'll just suffer. We'll just suffer again and again and again. And because Krishna is the absolute freedom, Krishna is absolute truth and absolute freedom. And that means that he knows what is in our heart better than we do. He knows our desires better than we do. And therefore, he and because his ultimate freedom, absolute freedom, he wants us to be free also, to the minute degree, because we are minute. So we are minutely free. We should be minutely free as much as possible. Yes. And this minute freedom means that we should know that if we keep and maintain material desires, will be given the opportunity and circumstances that will enjoy these material desires. They will be fulfilled because, in some way or another, according to what we deserve. Yes. So if we want, I don't know, Bentley car, but we don't have money for this, and we have strong desire to have a car, we maybe receive Mini Morris, or what's some small cheap car. I don't know. I'm not expert in cars, but still, the idea is there. And the same thing is with our different material desires. We may desire something, but we don't have um, enough punya for for full development of these desires. So we get something mixed, not completely what we want, but some approximation of this. Yes. So therefore, we should know that Krishna, whatever we receive in our life is by Krishna's mercy only. If you are a devotee, if you are not a devotee, it's Krishna, then it's samoham sarvabhuteshu na medveshyasti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mayi teshu bhaktya mayi teshu chapyaham. He explains that I'm everyone to every living entity. No one is dear to me, and I hate no one. Yes. So I act just like an observer. And he corroborates this in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. And he says, Upadrashta numantacha bharta bhokta maheshvara paramatmiti chapyukto dehesmin parushah. So that he is just an observer as a paramatma in everyone's heart. But those who are devotees, I'm their friend, and they're dwelling in me, and I'm in them. So they're friends, his friends to us, his friend, our friend, our dearmost friend, and he's striving for our benefit. So if we are not devotees, then we'll just receive what is due to our karma. Yes. Krishna, then he's completely, we can say, samoham sarvabhuteshu. He's equal to every living entity. He's impartial observer. Yes, he doesn't interfere in any way or form with life of such a person. But if we show any inclination for bhakti, then Krishna is trying to help us. Yes, as it explained in 6th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, Purvabhyasena te neva kriyate hyavishopikhitsah jigyasurapya yogasya shabdabamarti vartate. That when such a person who was inclined to devotional service in previous life gets birth again, he's automatically drawn towards spiritual things and topics, and he just continues. And of course, Krishna also explains that nothing is lost on the spiritual path. Yes. So this is very important to understand. If we try to be devotees, Krishna is everything is sending to us. Yes. So if we are not forgiving, if we don't try to develop this quality of forgiveness, we take grudge actually on Krishna. We hate Krishna for our so-called suffering and pains that we endure in our life. As soon as we want to develop some kind of love for Krishna, for God, immediately Krishna's stepping in, and immediately, especially if we do some service, some bhajana kriya. Bhajana means service, or some devotional activity. Yes, immediately when we do some devotional activity, it's then Krishna himself is intervening in our life, just arranging different situations that we can surrender to him more deeply and more from our heart. Still, we have, of course, our free will, and we can decide if we want to surrender or not. But Krishna is helping us, and this is very important to understand. So immediately when we don't feel forgiveness in our heart, it means that we are foolish. Yes, that we are foolish, that we are fools number one, and we hate Krishna actually. If we hate anyone for what he or she did to us, then we are very foolish and inexperienced in spiritual life. So we shouldn't be foolish and inexperienced in spiritual life. We should fully surrender. Not foolishly surrender, but fully surrender to Krishna. Yes. And give Krishna our heart and our love. And then even forgiveness is out of question. Then forgiveness is just the beginning of proper understanding. It's ecstasy, actually. We should accept every reversal, every injustice for us as ecstasy of seeing Krishna's, how can I say, as Krishna's mischief. Krishna is mischievous boy who did so many things just to attract love from his devotees. For example, he stole these clothes from young gopis who performed Katyayani Vrata, and for a month they performed worship of Katyayani just to receive Krishna for their husband. And when they had took bath after the worship of Katyayani, they put up earthen deity of Katyayani and gave different sacrifices for with only one purpose in mind: make the son of Maharaj Nanda my husband. And Krishna immediately understood their heart, and he was very pleased. And he came to the place where young gopis, kumaris, were bathing, and he stole all the clothes, and he climbed a kadamba tree, and then he said that they should come, and with folded hands above their heads, they should bow their head completely naked, and they will get their clothes back. So this is the message, that Krishna will definitely do some mischief to attract our heart more and more. And so the proper state of consciousness is not forgiveness, it's ecstasy, to see that Krishna is so interested in our love that he does such mischief on us. as different injustices that we endure in life, or verbal or physical abuses there may be there. Of course, that doesn't mean that we should tolerate physical abuse from others or any kind of abuse. And if necessary, we can involve even police in rectifying this. But still, this should be done as loving help for other people, even if we kill them. If you are in this position, like Arjuna, for example, to kill, we should kill them lovingly, knowing that this is for their benefit. Yes, if we are, if our killing is justified um, by some authority who can give such an authority to who is proper authority for this purpose. Yes. So yes, or if someone breaks in our house and wants to rape our wife and daughter and so on, we can kill him on the spot immediately, without any wavering of our hand. We can say no, such person should be killed immediately. We should protect our family members from such criminals. But we should still understand that Krishna sent me this trial and turbulence in my life just for me to surrender more deeply to Krishna, to remember Krishna more deeply. Yes. So it is explained in this connection with these gopis, from whom Krishna stole the garments, that even though Krishna ridiculed them and humiliated them, actually, in so many ways, their loving feelings towards Krishna deepened. Yes. And this is what we should acquire from any situation in life. So Krishna understands our nature, Krishna understands our position, Krishna understands our circumstances in life, and he will definitely lead us through life according in such a way that is most beneficial for us, even if we are in the most unpleasant situations for years. Yes, if you live with unpleasant in-laws in the same house, and who are against us very much and are very offensive towards us, maybe someone is living in such a condition, I don't know, but still we should take all these abuses as Krishna's mercy. But even if we are not so advanced that we are able to take them as Krishna's mercy, we should be forgiving. And why we should be forgiving? Because it's for Krishna's pleasure. This is the beginning of spiritual life. If we are not able to acquire these qualities in our heart for Krishna's pleasure, then it's out of the question our bhakti. There is no bhakti in our heart. And we even don't understand bhakti. Because bhakti means I want to make Krishna's happy. Even, for example, one may say Mother Yashoda displeased Krishna when she put him down. She was breastfeeding Krishna, and Krishna was feeling perfectly happy and satisfied when he was drinking his mother's milk directly from her breasts. But when milk on the stove was overflowing, Mother Yashoda immediately put him down and went to save the milk. One may think this is ridiculous because Maharaj Nanda had unlimited cows, from which 900,000 cows were most prominent, were most prominent cows, and the best of cows. So they had unlimited supply of milk, one can say. And these few drops of milk saving when Krishna is completely satisfied, it's craziness, one may say. Yes. And instead of satisfying Krishna, she put Krishna down, and Krishna was apparently and obviously dissatisfied by her action. But actually, her act was bhakti, was utmost bhakti, the highest level of bhakti, because this milk was specially meant for Krishna. Yes, was specially meant for Krishna. It was the best milk for Krishna. And we should understand this. So we should act for Krishna's pleasure, no matter what. And this milk was meant for Krishna's pleasure. Even if we do something that is seemingly displeasing, but if we do it for Krishna's pleasure, this is the highest philosophy. Another example of this, which is more obvious, is when Govinda, the servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wanted to massage Lord Chaitanya, who was after this Ratha Yatra festival, very tired. He was dancing all day long, and then he lay down on the threshold of the room from the inside. And so Govinda usually massaged the Lord, and when Lord fell asleep, Govinda went to take prasad. But now he couldn't enter the room to give massage to the Lord because the door was blocked. And he asked the Lord, please move just a little bit, that I can come in and massage you. And the Lord said, I'm too tired. And because Govinda asked the Lord again and again and again, then the Lord said, do it or don't do it. You decide. And then Govinda took a chadar and put it on the Lord, and he stepped over the Lord into the room, and he massaged the Lord. But after massaging the Lord, he didn't go for prasad because he would have to step over the Lord to come outside, and he didn't want to do it. And then the Lord noticed that Govinda is still in the house, in the room, and he didn't took prasad. And he asked Govinda, why didn't you take prasad? It's already very late, and you didn't take any prasad today. Why didn't you go and take prasad? And Govinda said, I didn't, I couldn't get out because you're blocking the entrance. And then the Lord said, but how did you come in? And he said, I stepped over you to come in. And he said, but why didn't you go out in the same way as you entered the room? And Govinda didn't want to say anything. But in his mind, he was thinking, I'm prepared to commit unlimited offenses just to serve you. But for my pleasure, I'm afraid to commit even the smallest offense possible. Yes. So he didn't want to do any kind of um, selfish act for his own satisfaction, but he was willing to commit any offense for the Lord's pleasure. Um, and this should be also our attitude. We should understand that everything is coming by Krishna's mercy in our life. Even if we have to, in our spiritual endeavor, to commit some offense, it should never be done from our false ego. It should be done as a humble servant. Yes, as a humble servant of the servant. So we should uh, be caring for others. We should never take grudge for anything, but we should be ecstatic if some pain is coming in our life. We should take it as special Krishna's mercy. And there is so much pain in our life. That means Krishna is loving us very much. He has conducting rough loving relationship. Yes. So we should take it as a special kind of Krishna's mercy and not be disappointed or discouraged, but we should be ecstatic. So I don't see any questions. Thank you very much for your attention. Now tomorrow I'll go to Navagokula farm in Czech Republic, so I'll have lectures there. So I won't have lectures for some time like this in the afternoons, but I will upload my lectures from these temples I will visit. Thank you very much for your attention, and Hare Krishna.